is a food and waterborne disease caused by the ingestion of the bacterium Vibrio cholerae in contaminated water and food. Diarrhea is the most prominent symptom, which can be life-threatening. Cholera can be both endemic, that is reoccurring, and an epidemic, which spreads fast. In Nigeria, cholera is a seasonal disease occurring mostly during the rainy season and more often in areas with poor sanitation. The current cholera outbreak in parts of the country, as reported by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, is our focus on this week's episode of Health Options. Join us as we seek to know the situation in affected states, mitigation effort, and precautionary measures with the Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, as guest. Thanks for tuning in. I am Salwa Khalil Ibrahim. Welcome back. Let's now bring up the Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, in his office. I began by asking him the situation in the 15 affected states so far.
We track the data throughout the year, and what we have seen so far has been that there's still a slightly downward trend, but we had this offshoot in the month of June. That's what was a major cause for concern. And secondly, it coincided with the period when we got information from Lagos State. They were recording very high numbers. In fact, they have the second highest number now. Next to Bayelsa, Lagos State has about 409 cases. Unfortunately, they are recording the highest number of deaths. Yeah, about 18 now, so far.
I asked the DG how the cholera bacteria is spread.
Cholera, like you know, it's an infectious disease caused by ingestion of contaminated food and water. The food and water is contaminated by the bacteria, the Vibrio cholera. Yes, you can get that disease. And once your food and water is contaminated, it presents characteristically with profuse diarrhea. Sometimes it's recorded as explosive, and very frequently. And the color of the stool is characterized by rice water stool, like you're boiling rice and you sieve the water. That's what it presents like. So once you know it, and it can come with vomiting and weakness. The major cause of death is the loss of body fluids from the diarrhea, because it's profuse and it's explosive, it's continuous. So that's why we advise people, once they have that, seek medical attention, because don't wait until you get dehydrated. Once you lose too much fluids, you're not able to move again. You understand? That's why once you start having this diarrhea, suspected, that go to the nearest treatment facilities. 80% of the cases may not result in this kind of diarrhea. It could be mild, and that's why some of them treat them with this oral salt rehydration solution. But for those severe cases, if they do not present early to the hospitals, they develop what they call shock dehydration, and that's what kills. Because when you lose so much fluid and salt, your major organs of the body are shut down, and that's what causes death. But once you can be rehydrated, it's reversible. There's no problem with that. That's why we tend to tell people that once you start having this diarrhea, seek medical attention. So it's not enough to say boil your water or wash your water. Ideally, wash your fruits and vegetables before cooking or eating properly. But when you don't have good water source supply, it becomes an emergency. This way again, I always say that health is a problem for everybody, both government and the people. Everybody has a role to play. So the government has a role to play. So in those areas where you have this issue of water supply, poor sanitation, or environmental situation, the states must do something. Either provide clean water or potable water. They can provide tankers where water that ensure that they meet safety standards for people to drink, rather than using the source that is contaminated. And again, you have many places in our country like where people openly defecate. These are poor personal hygiene practices. You blame them, you can't blame them, because ideally in your normal situations you'll be able to control yourself and do this in a very hygienic way. But in situations where you don't have the sanitary facilities, you don't have latrines, you don't have toilets, and that kind of people defecate in the open. And most of these cases occur in slum areas or urban slums, where water supply is limited, where they don't have good drainage systems, waste disposal systems. It's states where physical planning is poorly done. So you have so once it rains, those places are flooded. Once you have flood, the source of water, whether it's boreholes, gets contaminated.
With some states most hit like Lagos, what has the response been like?
With Lagos, and I think, the State Commissioner for Ogun State called me to report about 2 cases. And basically, we now sent 2 teams from here to go to Lagos, and this is just to go and verify. And I was in Lagos to over the vacation and try to talk to them and support them whatever they would need. So that was what was scary. And more importantly, again, NIMET had said recently that they are predicting a higher level of rainfall. Then coupled the fact that this is coinciding with the period of Salah festivity, because additionally after the period you have a rise in cases like that. And that's why we said, look, let's alert the nation. Now what we did was we sent out advisory to various states, to the commissioners for health, and advise them what to do. And then I think we sent some materials, commodities to all the states, most of the states, pre-packed. I think some of them are still going out now to those states. Well, because of that, again, now what we normally do is that for this kind of thing, we did a rapid assessment of the situation nationally. I think the results just came back yesterday to see what next to do. Having sensitized the states, and each one of them are already doing their own sensitization in various states. Ideally, they should also take responsibility for their various states. And then what we want to do now, based on analyzing the thing, we're going to convene an emergency operations center for Monday, just to show that. But the response level is slightly lower than it's categorized as high risk, but at high level, very high risk. So rather is high risk. So what we'll do is concentrate more on the states mostly affected, recording the highest number of cases and deaths. And like I said, about 15 of them are responsible in a lot of these cases. So we concentrate on those states, whilst at the same time we try to support them as much as possible.
We will take a break here. Join us again for the second part of the interview.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Give your child Bonvita. It contains essential vitamins and minerals that support mental and physical vitality. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
In a world hungry for goodness, with a splash of golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, or pure love.
Many thanks for staying on. The program is Health Options, and our focus is cholera disease and the recent outbreak in parts of the country with the Director General of NCDC, Dr. Jude Idris. Fruit and vegetables are said to be the easiest target of cholera. How can people stay clear?
Don't use detergent to wash your vegetables because, one, there could be chemical reactions of fruits. Use water either you boil and clean water where you find the water to wash these vegetables properly before you cut and eat. Detergents, I will not advise detergents. It is not recommended because it can cause some other problems in the body. Chemical reactions, either even with the fruits of your body. Detergents are not allowed. There are people where they say that chlorine tablets, but it has to be chlorine tablets you drop in the water just to disinfect the water. That's easily done, but don't put too much because again you can drink something called chemical reactions to your body. But just in moderation, and that's why again people go around various communities. That's why again the health officers, whether in medicine, must work with the communities. You have community leaders, you have people you can teach on what to do, and they can teach their people how to do this.
Is there a possibility of acquiring or producing a vaccine against cholera in Nigeria?
Vaccine generally, we don't have enough in this country. There's no doubt about that because we don't produce. We used to produce, now we don't produce. Although this present administration is trying out to stimulate all this production. You understand me? So it depends on, and demand far outweighs the supply. That's the reality. We had the same experience in COVID when we were the last people to get stock of vaccines. Even when we have, I'm not too sure we have enough. So vaccines are good, but don't totally rely on vaccines. One, you have to use the vaccine before the disease occurs, or else it's as good as not happening. So people are running after scatter. So for any disease, it has to be a combination of control measures. Cholera vaccine, they are not long lasting. Yeah, they come for a period of time. So what happens after that? So all the various control measures are very necessary. The same thing with malaria. The malaria vaccine doesn't confer you long-lasting immunity if you don't deal with environmental issues, if you don't deal with transmission issues, if you don't reset, we still continue to have the malaria. You understand me? So relying on vaccine alone for cholera, I will not support it. If you're in a position you can get the vaccine, yes, but it's in combination with other control measures, like we said, water supply, clean water supply, hygiene, sanitation. Those are key issues with respect to cholera.
And on a final note, here is an advisory against cholera disease.
Adopt good personal hygiene. When you are going to the toilet or bathroom, wash your hands. Hand washing, people have hand washing is something. Once you cultivate the culture of hand washing, it reduces the incidence of infectious disease by not only more cholera, but almost about 40% easily. So if you cultivate that habit of hand washing, frequent hand washing, it reduces it, especially either when you go to the bathroom, to use the toilet, after you wash your hands. If you are going to prepare your food, you wash your hands before and after. If you are going to cook food, make sure that the source of water is good. If not, boil the water properly before cooking. After cooking, if you're using vegetables, wash the vegetables very well with clean water. Yeah, and when you prepare your food, ensure that your hands are clean. That's why you see wash your hands again. Now, if you prepare your food and leave the food open, they get cold. Flies can lie on this food, and if the organism is there, the flies can carry those and transfer again. So you don't leave food in the open like that. You cover them, and when you want to eat, boil again, warm again. You understand me? Now, For water sources, where you don't have good water sources, if you are using boreholes or from wells, people normally say give them chlorine tablets just to disinfect the water before you use. But again, they need to be taught how to use this. Chlorine water, or if you don't have clean water, boil the water if you are not sure of the water. Avoid open defecation if you can, or maybe villagers, communities can establish community latrines or toilet sanitary facilities where people can go there to ease themselves. These are physiological responses. The body will always want to release whatever it is, any excess in the body. So it's a natural thing. So the idea is to prepare for this sort of thing. So people say cholera is a political disease, the disease of development. Because now some people can use it against the government. You are not providing water, so you're not providing sanitary facilities. You're not providing. So that's why some people tend to. But the idea is that all diseases are interrelated. Health is a development issue. If you do plan your cities very well, drainage facilities, sanitary facilities, water facilities, you're improving the health of the people. There's no doubt about that.
Like you just heard there, health is everybody's business, so do well to take care of your well-being.
Unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Now, clean drinking water is essential in staying healthy and against cholera. Check out our offering on hydrogen therapy as we go over to our Nature's Corner.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
Kuka, that's the name in Hausa.
That is call it Ose.
In Yoruba.
Ose, Igi Ose.
Okay, so I know it's Kuka.
I am delighted to have you join us on Health Options, the program that not only tracks government policies on health.
The total cholesterol is made up of some components. The high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol, the low density hypoprotein, which is the bad.
Cervical cancer, a type of cancer that develops in a woman's cervix.
There were opportunities for women to get screened for both cervical and breast cancer, maybe up to 30,000, but we'll be having figures of 5,000.
Talking about hydrotherapy, you're looking at it in a more confined way. Take for example, this is a form of hydrotherapy devised and presented by way of hydrogen water bottle. You see this bottle, it is actually generating, hydrogen. That once you are drinking this water, you are taking, hydrogen. The water is also, as it's being generated, it's also converted to what you call structured water. Structured water is the shape and form of water that the body cells will absorb easily. So we say that the structure of water is hydrophobic and hexagonal. And with that kind of structure, once you take it, the body cells absorb it quickly. You can see I take almost about 6 to 8 of this in a day. And the 6 to 8 gives you about up to 3 liters. Up to 3 liters. Ideally, we are recommended to take up to 2 to 3 liters. But if you are not taking a structured water that is also has been changed in the form with hydrogen, you notice that when you take water, your stomach is kind of heavy. You wouldn't expel it, as quickly as you should. But because this water is actually structured and is hydrogenated and it is alkaline in the sense that the water I put in makes it alkaline. I'm not saying that the bottle will make the water alkaline, but I use specific type of water that is alkaline. So with this, once you take it, it absorbs faster in your body. So it helps with detoxification. It is also anti-inflammatory, and most importantly, it helps with production of energy, because hydrogen, being the smallest molecule that you can find, gets into the cell and goes to the part of the cell known as the mitochondria that is responsible for production of energy. So when you take this, you see that your energy level gets boosted, your clarity of thought gets boosted. You are able to excrete a filter. The kidneys are able to filter this water faster than the ordinary water that is, not really structured or hydrogenated. What we consider as healthy water must have 3 properties. It's not just any water that you will take. And here again, let me back up and emphasize that depending on the level of the society or who you are looking at. Just during the last time I was home in the village, we've even dug a borehole for our people, but some of them said they don't want to take it. It actually causes the gastric irritation. But when you come to me, what is quality water to me must be structured, which I had explained, must be alkaline, which I had explained the importance, because our body operates best in an alkaline environment. That is to say that the pH must be not greater than 7.4, but most of this water you take, they're actually acidic. Then the third component that makes up quality and healthy water is what we call nano-pure. That water must be free of microbes. It must be free. So you see, that's why it is not just any water you want to take. Look at the purification process. So most of these water plants these days, that they must be using ozone. Ozone is that a product that kind of purifies the water. It kills all the bacteria, it attenuates all the viruses, and any microbes that ozone comes in contact with, it will kill it. So your good water must be structured, it must be alkaline, it must also be ozonated.
It is on this note that we wrap up this week's episode of Health Options. You can catch up on these and previous episodes of the program at www.nta.gov.ng. Like we always say, stay safe.